This is Murli Mohan. I worked and associated with the Department of Science and Technology for 25 years. And of course, before that, I was with various other organizations. And I superannuated. And I am a freelancer now. I am available. The topic given to me today is, the unlocking DST missions. So there is a technical word called unlocking, and associated with the DST and associated with the missions. Okay. So before getting into the missions, which is at the macro level, I would like to take you the journey that DST has gone, or science and technology that has undergone, from 1947 onwards, and very briefly, not much time, okay? And then I will take you what DST does and what are the opportunities for the researchers and the students and other, the people engaged in S&T spectrum. And then I will get into the so-called missions, projects, schemes, and things like that. Well, the first S&T, the policy which was promulgated in 1958 by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, it talks about development of scientific temper in the country. We are all aware that there are around 30 crore population at that time, and the scientific temper is the one which was felt needed at that particular time. I don't know. The civilization evolved with science, evolved with the technologies, and it goes back to 10,000-20,000 years back, and then built so many temples, so many cities, the technologies that is required for well-being of the people. Either you take astronomy, you take Ayurveda, you take agriculture, you take city designs, all emulated from the golden ratios of the universe, and as well as the coexistence with the nature. That is how the civilization has evolved. Anyway, 1947, people felt that scientific temper development in the country is the requirement. That is the first, the science policy which was promulgated. Then it's evolved. The science, they felt that it requires expertise, and requires science should be managed by the scientists or researchers. That way, 1970, there was a science commission which was formed. They said that there should be liberty in providing the research support to the researchers. Therefore, the bureaucracy should not come into the picture. Only science should be managed by the scientists. The commission evolved into a full-fledged department that is called Department of Science and Technology in 1971. And they felt that even DST is a government department. Therefore, we need the flexibility and the freedom to select the projects and support them. Therefore, SCRC was formed later period. The same SCR, Science and Engineering Research Council, which supports our engineering and research projects, had that type of freedom and flexibility managed by the scientist, and that type of degrees of freedom was given to the SCRC. Later, the same thing was converted into a board, SCRB. Now, again, it's a board. So SCRB functioned for the last 10 years. Now, again, we felt that that is also require more freedom and flexibility. Now, currently, the ANRF was created. That is the journey that gone into. Meanwhile, the DST, evolved into various departments, created various schemes and projects. Ocean development became a department, later became Ministry of Earth Sciences. And under the Ministry of Science and Technology, different spectrums like the biotechnology has become a full-fledged department. The science should lead to industrial revolution, therefore DSIR was created. You see the difference between DST and the DSIR. There is a huge difference. This is for open sky research, and DSIR is for the industry. Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. That means the research should lead to the industry requirements. Way back, 1970s and 80s itself, government recognized that requirement, created a separate department. Then, of course, biotechnology has become a full-fledged department, and then it gets into the medical and as well as biosciences. And that is how the Ministry of Science and Technology, which has got, three the departments under them. The best part is the Ministry of Science and Technology completely governed and managed by the scientists. This is the a peculiar structure that was created because all the secretaries of MOST or DST or DBT or DSIR is from the scientific community. No bureaucracy. Imagine the vision the people had at that time itself. Ocean development was part of the DST. Now it became independent maybe 15, 20 years back. Ministry of Earth Sciences. That is a full-fledged ministry. Then we have Ministry of Environment and Forests. And they deals with all the environmental and as well as regulatory frameworks. The MIT, the Information and Electronics, that is a separate ministry. That also was a Department of Electronics, became Ministry of MIT. Then, of course, the sensitive departments like DRDO, DOS, DAE, these are all very different kind of. So, if you look at the entire spectrum of this SNT, one I will divide into two parts. One is the open research, another is directed research. All the departments or ministries, which I call it as a scientific departments, more or less works on directed research. Whereas the DST works on open sky research. That's the difference. Of course, recently this Ministry of Mines also requires a lot of technologies, a lot of research is required for exploration, extraction and processing, and they also partly coming under science, technology, application areas. The mining is one which started supporting the R&D projects also. Of course, industry collaboration is also coming up. The private investments is also coming into the mining and extraction and processing. Then, of course, chemical and fertilizers is another, the ministry, which is also. Apart from this, these are all for mostly on science and technology, but there is another scheme called ICSSR, which is Indian Council for Social Sciences Research, also into the humanities. They are also combining humanities with the SNT and giving a interdisciplinary projects. So there is a plethora of ministries and departments which are all supporting, coming forward for the funding nowadays. Well, so regarding DRDO, we heard yesterday. They are in space, we heard atomic energy, more or less similar spectrum they operate, and not much in the public domain. These are all very sensitive organizations, and we are not authorized to talk about that. And I will confine to DST. Regarding the other scientific ministries, they are all available in their websites, and the schemes are available, and regulations are available in that. So for the sake of time and clarity, I would like to concentrate mostly on the DST aspects. Is it okay? Good. Now, if you broadly categorize what are the activities of DST, I'll put it into these four categories. One, how the DST supports research in the country. These are all pan-India programs, not confined to any region or state, pan-India programs. How the financial support is extended to the experts or researchers available in the country. That's one broad spectrum. Okay. Then the research will continue or fostered unless otherwise you have a good R&D facility, particularly engineering and sciences. Okay. Now, the DST concentrate on enhancing the R&D infrastructure in the country. We have various programs like FIST, another thing you might have heard about these things. Okay. So that is purely not for research, for example, not for doing research, in the sense procurement of R&D infrastructure and creating as a central facility in the organization in the country also. So one spectrum related to enhancement of R&D infrastructure. The third aspect is how to develop the next generation in human resources or the scientists in terms of fellowships, in terms of schemes, in terms of young scientists, women scientists. There are schemes and various. Mostly it is all fellowships driven activity, HRD. So in fact, if you look into the full spectrum of HRD, it starts from high school to the postdoc. There are schemes for supporting, the school children, and there are schemes supporting the undergraduate, postgraduates, PhDs, and postdocs. So the entire spectrum is available. But of course, it is only confined to engineering and sciences. Now, yesterday we heard about the complete activities of international cooperation, collaboration, and cooperations. Okay, now each one I am going to touch upon. I will try to go as depth as possible and I clarify if you have any doubts or queries. And of course, we have the DST is a nodal agency to bring the science policies. Yesterday there is a slide which talks about STIP, Science and Technology, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Policy. Okay, so those type of policies will be brought by the DST. Of course, in consultation with the stakeholders. So these are all the broad activities. If you took at the entire activity spectrum of DST, that's right. Apart from this, of course, DST has something like 17 autonomous bodies, scientific autonomous bodies, like SN Bose, ARCI. Like that, we have the INSA. These are all various autonomous bodies across the country, which are all governed by the DST. Autonomous bodies means the functional autonomy. The finance comes from the taxpayers' money through DST, but they have the functional autonomy. Okay. Now, international collaboration, though Dr. Varshney, my colleague, talked about yesterday, but I would like to just simply give one sentence in this. When you say international collaboration, collaboration for the joint research. The DST has something like 85 countries MOUs. With 85 countries, the Indian government has an MOUs. Under those MOUs, there is a giant collaborative research projects. Timely, this is announced, and there is a giant call. It's a collaboration in the sense, Government of India contributes 50% and the collaborating country contributes 50%. A common corpus is created and they float the programs for joint research. That's how 85 countries and number of programs which Dr. Varshney yesterday has elaborated. Okay. Now, the first category, the individual expertise-driven research projects. I would like to concentrate, some time on this. Okay. Now, when you say that the DST supports research, it is the what you call the expertise available with the researchers, and to pursue his scientific aspirations, we provide support. We means the DST, not me. Okay. Okay. Now, how this individual expertise has to be recognized and how his contributions can be mapped to the country's requirement or industry requirement, that is something DST does it. Now, the fundamental problem is how to identify individual expertises. You know you are doing a fantastic research, but sitting in Delhi, people may not be knowing it. So, we are the democratic country. The money comes from the taxpayer's kitty. It has to be judicially used and accountable and transparent. All these things are inbuilt in this. Okay, there is a CAG, there is an audit, there is a public audit, there is a private audit. So many governmental systems, the DST cannot escape all these things. Even to draw a single rupee from the government is not that easy. Those struggle DST officers do at their end. Now, as a researcher, what happens? So generally what DST does is everything has to be open and transparent. As I told, this DST is governed by the scientist. The secretary is a scientist. All the people who are managing these schemes are scientists with scientific backgrounds. They understand what it is. They have done some fundamental research and then they joined the DST. Therefore, they understand. Now the question is, what is required for the government? What is required for the industry? Somebody has to collate it. Now, they have to evolve a scheme and give an open advertisement in the newspapers calling for the proposals. Now, the people, the researcher, those people who are having expertise, they respond in terms of submitting a proposal. Now, that goes a series of processes. Now, there is a peer review. Again, I am telling you, it is managed by the faculty and researchers only. DST officer's role is very, very, very minimal. That has to be understood clearly. The scheme was developed, again, with the help of the subject experts. They undergo, they know the scheme guidelines, they undergo the thrust areas, they undergo, they know what are the expected outcomes, everything. Once that is approved by the DST secretary, then it goes into the open call. Open call goes and the guidelines are given and then people submit the proposals. Okay, just for fun's sake, I handled some of these projects. When you give a call for proposals, 1998 when I joined that organization, it's not exaggerating. From the Lodi Road Post Office, a truck used to come to DST delivering the projects. Morning one truck and evening one truck. Truckload of proposals. Because at that time it is a physical submission and each proposal has to come in 20 copies. 20 copies means at least one tree has to be cut to make that kind of papers. And the truckload of proposals comes. Now, humanly not possible to handle that kind of these things. There is a process we have to then each proposal has to go to the peer review. That means DST officer will not take decision on that. He has to send that proposal. Only one option he has is whether the objectives of the scheme is meeting by that particular proposal, whether it is falling in that category or not. Suppose I am floating a chemistry, some analytical chemistry scheme, and somebody submitting, some, philosophy or some thing, it is not falling under that actually. So that much only. Once it is falling, scrutinization, it goes to the peer review. That means the people who are having expertise in that particular field, they review, they give their opinions. And then it's all quantified. 5 people. And then they give the suggestions also. Or they may reject it also. They may enhance the budget also. They may say that it requires certain kind of additional equipment also. All possibilities are there. Again, those are all coming from the peer review professors like you. Out of 5, 3 people recommends, we take them into the expert committee. Who are the members of the expert committee? Again, same professors and researchers. Who is the chairman? And he is the stalwart of that particular expertise. And DST officers, yeah. So, along with the peer review formats, the DST officer placed before the committee, and they take a decision, and the PI makes a presentation, and then in detail the discussions happens, and then a decision is taken whether to support this project or we want to resubmit the project or reject the proposal. Everything is minuted, signed by the committee members, and goes for approval of the secretary. Because ultimate authority is the secretary DST who approves. On his behalf, all these committees are working. Okay. So once secretary approves, then it goes a process. It goes into the finance department, it goes into the various other aspects. Then finally, sanction order is issued by the DST officers. It's a laborious process. And then if you receive tons of proposals, and then very limited amount is available. Each scheme may be having 30 or 50 crores or 100 crores. Total budget is 5,000 crores in a year, DST budget. Out of that, maybe around 3,000 crores is for the R&D support. And there are 23 divisions or schemes available in DST. That way, if you look at it, each division or a scheme may get 100, 150 crores, maximum 200 crores. And 200 crores we are receiving. Now, people get frustrated. I am submitting so many proposals. I've last 10 years I am submitting. I am not getting anything. I am not getting even rejection letter also. Some people say that I submitted, nothing happens. The status is that. That is because, like any other department, people are retiring and no recruitment and overwhelmed by the amount of work. It takes some time. Of course, technology has been infused into DST processing. Online submission has come, processing, monitoring, and everything is done. And the turnaround time of a project submission and acceptance or rejection now reduced to 3 months. Earlier, it used to be 1 year, 1.5 years. So that was the one parameter which the cabinet has taken, saying that each department has to define what you call the turnaround times. Now, that has come down to 3 months. Now, within 3 months, you have to complete this process means the main lacuna what we face is the peer review people whom we submit the proposal for review, then give their comments. It doesn't have any monetary benefits. They don't submit. Some of them, I am not telling everyone. We give 15 days or 1 month. It doesn't, it will come back. Because at least I require, 5 reviewer comments. So we don't get it. We send the reminders. We send these things. And suddenly, fine morning, you say that, okay, you rejected. Why it was rejected? Nothing is written. Okay, so the due diligence, the scientific due diligence has to be done by the peer reviewers. I'm not telling there are very good people, within 2 days they send the reviews. And some people don't respond. And some of the problems, I'm just listing it out. The main time takes in getting the peer review comments. Most of you people might have reviewed some of the projects. You just look back how much time you have taken to submit your things. And another problem from DST also, suppose one person is sending review comments very fast, then he will be given 100 proposals. That is also there. Because he is responding very fast, let us give him more projects. Because it doesn't have the monetary value, so it takes very easy. So anyway, these are all some of the, the constraints that we operate. And then, the monitoring, every 6 months we have the monitoring and then these things. Now, coming to the, what you call the writing of the proposals, my experience I'm just sharing with you. I'm not telling that it's happening here with you or it's not this thing. Some of the calls, if you give, anyway, when I was handling the big data initiative, I gave a call for proposals. And then they say that, big data analytics for agriculture, big data analytics for health. And then there is a title called, Big Data Analytics for Health, Agriculture, and Nutrition, and then applying fuzzy logic, doing the mathematical modeling, and the GIS integrated, information system. This is the title, these things. But looking at the title itself, we say that what is the stuff of this thing. And then if you get into turn the page to go to the objectives, objectives runs for another 3 pages. And then methodology, nowhere, either he doesn't have agricultural expertise, nor fuzzy logic, nor big data, nothing is available. He picked it up somewhere, and then he collated, and then he has written, and something, no references, nothing. And what are the expected outcomes? Nothing. But he is going to solve the problem of the country, the agriculture, health, and other things with the 30 lakhs. We have seen. And mostly there is a stress on the faculty from the institutes that they have to submit the proposals. Getting another thing is different thing, but in your career, you have to submit, in the call came, you have to submit the proposal. So there is a target. So they submit the proposals. That's why the trucks comes to the DST. Okay. Now, what is the quality of these proposals? And I suggest at every college level, we need to have a type of a DST committee, in the sense the way in which DST, peer reviews the thing. You pick up, from other institutes and other thing. You create a group who scrutinizes these proposals before sending it to the DST. At least a level of scrutiny has to happen at the institute level. Most of the vice chancellors are experts. Most of the pro-vice chancellors are experts. And you rope in every institute nowadays, nearby there are so many universities, engineering colleges. Create a group, multidisciplinary groups. All the proposals, look at the title, look at the objectives. Any objective which is more than 2-3 sentences, we felt that is nothing. What is that this project is going to do at the end of 3 years with 30 lakhs? It should be very, very, very clearly defined. If the proposal is more than 5 pages, let me tell you, it's bogus. No, I am not telling that every project. I am some of the projects. Okay, that's how it happens. Now, there is a criticism saying that all the funding goes to the IITs, the NITs, central universities, and then other things. True. It is true. At the same time, in this group, I can say there are so many private, small engineering colleges. They got huge amount of funding. How? I just know I heard some Bhimavaram Vishnu Engineering College. He himself told, Vishnu Engineering is a small engineering college. He got around 50 crores. How it happens? There is a dichotomy. Let me tell you. A person who completed from good institute, BTech and MTech, went for abroad for a PhD or within the country also, and done the postdoc, and he joins some organizations, so which is teaching UG, PG and PhDs. A faculty who is an assistant professor, which is having a good R&D facility for that institute. He has UG students, he has the PG students, he has the PhD scholars. Okay. Now, he starts with a small problem, use the UG students, use the PG students, give it to the PhD, and then, the project scale enhances. And this is how in IIT system they operate. They have the infrastructure, they have UG students. UG student, they have to submit the 6 months project. That 6 months project is nothing but a small portion of his project or his postdoc. Some 20 students work on that. They take it to the next level. It will be given to the MTech student. He will enhance it, more add data, more algorithms. Then it goes into a broader topic, goes as a PhD. So the PhD, the MTech, and the UGs, this is the group always attached to the assistant professor. An youngster who joined here actually. And then he concentrates on writing proposals. He is getting so many JRFs, equipments, everything. And then the group evolves. By 10 years, he has his own lab. He has his own spectrum of students. And then it goes, actually. I don't know why it cannot be done in other institutes. It can be done. It can be done. Okay. Now, fundamentally, we look at the individual expertise, not connecting to any of the national problems or other things. He sees how you enhance your expertise. Out in the postdoc or PhD, you have certain topics. Now, how you can enhance the particular applications and then take it to the next level. That's what we look at the individual level projects. Okay, so till 2004 and 2005, mostly it is all individual projects. Okay, because we have to engage the researcher in their scientific engagements. That's what the motive actually. But outcomes, not much defined, but in terms of publications or patents was also not expected, mostly the publications. Okay, so that's how the individual projects has gone into this thing. Next comes, we have multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary network-based projects. In fact, I can say that I pioneered this area while in DST. I was with not more than 2 years, I stick to any program. That is my thing. Right from the beginning, I was like this. I was with ICMR for 2 years. I was with ICR for 2 years. I was with the Ministry of Commerce for 2 years. The barcodes development, electronic data interchange. Then I left. All these jobs I left after 2 or 3 years. I was with Delhi College of Engineering. My PhD is from that place. Then in DST, I was with supercomputer 2.5 years. Then comes IT implementation. Then comes NRDA, NRDMS, NSDI. Then big data initiatives. Then comes ICPS. What is it, ICPS? Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. There was a national mission also. This is the first division. Then came Frontier and Futuristic Technology divisions. Then came NMICPS. Then came National Quantum Mission. And there I put my full stop. Now, I will concentrate on the second aspect that is called the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary network projects. It's very interesting. You take any problem of the country, or problem of the industry, or problem of the society. Not one discipline is going to solve that problem. We require multidimensional approaches, multidimensional subjects to come together to resolve that particular issue. It doesn't happen. Okay, you are expertise in one particular field, but the problem requires multidisciplinary approach. Then how do you solve it? The individual projects, only it defines very limited, narrow band. But the problem requires multidisciplinary. I will give you 1 or 2 examples. You try to understand these things. Okay. When I say multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, these are buzzwords. Everybody talks about it. But practically, we implemented, in our these things. So, 2, 3 examples. Well, there is a scheme called Indian Digital Heritage. Heard about it? No. Okay, no problem. Anybody heard about Hampi? Hampi, Vijayanagara King's capital. Yeah, great. So, it was a great kingdom, capital for entire south and up to Orissa, rubbled during 1565. Now, what remains is maybe 10–20% of what it was earlier. Now, I visited that place. I saw that, okay, these are all there. But how it was in 1520s, I can only visualize. Can I bring the technology and recreate digitally these things how it was? But how it was, who will explain? But there are people like Domingo Pos, Abdul Razak. These are the people who visited Vijayanagar during his heydays, and they have written the books. Farishta. So I had what you call Forgotten Empire book, Domingo Pais. I read that, they explained how it was. Now I brought the technologies to recreate Hampi digitally in digital space. Now, what are the disciplines required? We have to scan all the monuments. How do you scan it? Terrestrial laser scanners. Point clouds. Point cloud to CAD diagram to these things. So, the terrestrial laser scanning. And we require the GIS, the remote sensing. The entire 20 square kilometers of the capital has to be GIS, has to be done. Actually. So, GIS came into picture. The terrestrial laser scanning is to be the 3D architectures. Then came art and historians. The people, there are a lot of paintings, inlay paintings and other things. So, that has to be scanned and restored. So, the image processing came into picture. Then, how they know these temples were constructed, we don't know. But Agama Shastras will define what it was. What in this corner, what it should be, in this corner, what it should be, what is the height of, because they all follow the golden ratios. 108 is one such golden ratio. 5/3 is another such golden ratios. So all these architectures follow these golden ratios and Agama Shastras. If in a one particular pose, a dancer is standing in a particular, leg is this side and then hand is this side, definitely the other hand should be like this. These are all mudras. So all this knowledge is available. Now combining these, all these from the various disciplines and recreating in the digital space is a scheme called IDH. How many, which are the disciplines? Every discipline, you name it, it is brought in. There are 47 institutes came together. That means 47 expertises came together. And then it's a scheme was evolved and funded. 20 crores funding has gone into this. And who are the people? The small engineering institutes, colleges, and then, the NGOs, all these people came together and worked and were recreated. It's available. The entire, Krishna temple, or you take, the other, the markets, everything was recreated. It's in my mobile. If somebody is interested, you can see that things. Now, the CAD diagrams gives the measurements. That is there. Now, this is one aspect. Why I am telling is not only engineering, the engineering is mingled with the humanities. That is. Otherwise, engineering doesn't have much, unless otherwise you connect with the humanities. Now, second example. We know the Kolleru Lake. How many people know it? East and West Godavari. So what is the problem of Kolleru? It is in between Godavari and Krishna, am I correct? And one side it is Papikondalu or some forest range, the other side is Bay of Bengal. And this Kolleru is 900 square kilometer area, which is a balancing reservoir formed paleo times. Okay. Now, the Kolleru is connected to the Bay of Bengal through Upputeru, which is around meandering this thing. It goes to 68 kilometers. Actual distance is only 20-25 kilometers. But beyond, because it is meandering like this, the water has to meander and go and connect with the Bay of Bengal. And the Kolleru is a freshwater lake. There are aquifers below, which are all filled with fresh water. Now, what happened to Kolleru? Everybody knows. Okay. Now, the water hyacinth is completely, the trucks can walk on that. There are so many bifurcations, so many things that happen. But main problem, 1970s, was when during the flooding period, Eluru, other places, everything used to get flooded. Flooded for 2 months. Because the water outlet from Kolleru to the Bay of Bengal has to go to the Upputeru only. And then it takes a lot of time because the water goes into the surrounding ring areas. There was a problem. People were agitated. Then came the scientific intervention. What happened? Why water has to go to all this meandering place? Let us put a straight cut. From Kolleru to Bay of Bengal, straight cut 20-25 kilometers, the water will go, enter into the Bay of Bengal, problem resolved. No flooding in other places. Then what happened? During the monsoon period, water goes to the Bay of Bengal. Non-monsoon period, water came from ocean to the Kolleru. Entire Kolleru became saline. The saline water in the Kolleru replaced the fresh water in the aquifers, and aquifers also became saline. And the Upputeru that was going on, now it is coming and joining with the straight cut. Because of that, all the lankas are going off. Now, bigger problem, because you intertwined with the nature, and then you have to face the music. Simple, nature's law. Now, what to be done? Everybody is agitating. It's a huge scheme we brought it. What are the subjects? We need to study the chemistry. We need to study the water hyacinth. We have to study the entire GIS of the area. We have to bring the remote sensing aspects. We have to study the surrounding, the inlets of the water, how much water is going, what are the pollutant levels in that, what is the effect of the straight cut on the Kolleru. We have to study what is the relevance of this Upputeru. Oh, huge. 45 institutes came together. Andhra University was the coordinating agency. And small institute, even Bhimavaram, then other areas, what is that college? SRK Engineering College was another. There are national level, National Institute of, Environment, this Nagpur, they also came forward. And we ran this scheme. There are 200 PhD scholars associated with this scheme. 45 institutes came together and worked. It's like 3 buses going to the Kolleru collecting the samples. We have dug the, the bore wells also to extract what happened to these things. And that is the scheme, Now again, multidisciplinary. All the science, all the engineering, all the modern technologies, the sensors, everything was used. This is the scheme. Who identified the problem? The local small engineering college, BVRK Engineering College, because they have some relation with Wageningen University, that foreigners, they came and they are studying all these things. They say that the state cut is a blunder. But how to resolve it now? And they came to me and said that, sir, this is the problem we are facing and what can be done. Let us launch a scheme. Okay? Network projects. And if you look at, the literature is available with Park Raju, he is from Bhimavaram or Andhra University. Rajendra Prasad is the coordinator, geophysics. Anyway, you can go and talk to them. The data is available. All the raw data, processed data, and analyzed data, everything is available with that. Okay. Now, how much time I left? Indicate me.
15 minutes.
I can continue, no? Yeah. Yeah. So, one in digital space, another in environmental engineering, and third, I have a number of examples. It can go on hours together. One more example I would like to take. That's on water. Now, everybody talking about water. So, water processing, clean water energy, water for all, water for agriculture, water for industry. But where this water is going to come? Once you have the water, then only you can do all these things, no? How you are going to manage our waters? Example, Kaveri. 2,500 years back, the Cholas, particularly Karikala Chola, built a dam beyond Srirangam called the Grand Anicut. Heard about it? Yes. Still it is functioning. And it is nothing but a simple check dam. 2,500 years back. I don't know. That's what estimated. The material used in that check dam is strengthening day by day. And the check dam location, even if it is 30 meters below or 30 meters above, it could have washed back long back ago. How they identified and geolocated the exact fault with nano accuracies. No. And still it is functioning. And the check dam also created the left and right canals, which facilitated the entire, the Ganga, this Bhavani Sagar, and as well as, the Tanjavur and other regions fertile. And from the check dam, 40 kilometers below, there is a Kallanai. There are water, bifurcations. Now, they've drawn the water 40 kilometers by building, 2 bunds, so both the sides. The water went there. From there, they bifurcated into different directions. All auto-balancing. Not only that, the silting happens over the period of time. There is an auto-desilting process built in the system. Whenever there is an excess sand is accumulated there, automatically it is thrown into the what you call collidum. Auto-desilting, no manual interference. And it is operating for the last 2,500 years. Still it is operating. Now, Sir Arthur Cotton, who came as a young sapper at the age of 16 to Madras Sappers, He was posted there in that. He went and studied because he didn't get that type of opportunities in England. He was amazed by looking at those things. He studied that entire Grand Anicut, the entire colony, for 20 years. 1926 to 1940, I think he was there only. He never moved out of that place. He studied the entire deltaic region. He studied how the entire irrigation system was developed. Completely he studied. Then he said, I want to replicate this. And he was looking for the congenial place where I can do this. Then he found Dhavaleshwaram on Godavari. And he replicated what Cholas done on Kaveri 2,500 years back. He replicated on Dhavaleshwaram. Now what happened to the coastal Andhra, we know it actually. And he never stopped there. He suggested what needs to be done on Ganges, what needs to be done in connecting the rivers. Now, of course, the Punjab, the greater Punjab, the entire Pakistan, Bangladesh and other things at that time, 1940s, 1950s, how this entire water could be balanced to irrigate the entire country. He has that maps I have. In Survey of India archives, if you go, the cotton maps are available. And he marked where it has to be done, how it should be connected, what are the depth, what are the paths. Now somebody has to go do these things. Government lives in a different space altogether. We researchers has to dig into these things, bring out those things, conduct series of workshops, conduct series of brainstorming sessions. Not necessary that you may succeed in first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, but somewhere someone will take it and then it will go further actually. How many of us, no, it's a huge project, lakhs of crores are required. Why do you worry about it? It is people's money. Only thing you have to convince the people. At least you try for that. Now, Buckingham Canal, from Yanam to Chidambaram, still is there. 60% it is operating. You know what is the operating cost of that water transportation? People, 1920 also, from Vijayawada to Madras, all the coconut, salt, gilt, everything they used to drag on this Buckingham Canal. It is to be and it is also flood preventing structures. That was the Now tourism can be developed. And the last one, the third example, we have the Western Ghats. This side of the Western Ghats, we have 600 millimeters of rainfall. And that side, it is 3,000 millimeters of rainfall in the monsoon period. Western Ghats beyond, the Kerala and that coast and other things. This was observed by the Anderson. Periyar Dam, you might have heard about it. Periyar Dam in the other side of what you call the Western Ghats. But he saw that rainfall happens the other side. What he has done, he put a tunnel the other side. He collected the water from the other side of what you call the Western Ghats and brought the water and filled the Periyar Dam. Now, there is a 3,000 millimeters of rainfall happening other side, and this side, no semi-arid region. Can you bring tunneling technology is what? It is all proven. So many metros we are building up and other things. Only thing is we have to create a maps, we have to create the GIS, we have to create the geotechnical surveys. And provide a full-fledged plan to the government saying that if you do this, if you do the scientific interventions, the entire, the site can be taken up actually. And, the best part, the Anderson's family is still struggling in the court of London. Why? Because Anderson spent 67 rupees extra than what was sanctioned at that time. Therefore, the misusing of crown finances against the wishes of the crown is a crime. So not only he was punished, but his next 16 generations still struggling in the court. Same thing happened to cotton also. There is another thing. Okay, bad things happen, but there are good things also happen. So I am looking at this type of schemes. Of course, quantum has come. There is another scheme we developed, Quest, Quantum-Enabled Science and Technology. Now, we know that whatever the digital technologies, what we developed from the what you call Alan Turing missions to the current missions, these are all based on electricity. Now, there is a new paradigm shift that is happening. How much time? 10 minutes. Oh, sure. So the subatomic phenomena is used for computation, communication, and as well as other purposes. Look at the MRI limitations, the current MRI limitations. We'll get the structural analysis of the body when you do the MRI. But we require subatomic, we can predict the diseases. So quantum MRIs, quantum biology, quantum chemistry, the drug designs. And in fact, the existing mathematics is waste in the paradigm of, the, what do you call, quantum, because there is no dimensions. We require new mathematics. And who is going to work on all these things? Okay, fine, we are developing economically. We can purchase all this technology. That is one option. But we also should understand what it is happening and possible developed technologies also. Anyway, it can go on. So some of these things I already explained. Cluster projects we discussed. Yeah, these are the Hampi thing, what I was Mini Vitala temple. These are all, digitally recreated, 3D printed, and it is available in the National Museum at Delhi. These are all. What you see actually in Hampi is different, and what you see here is different. This is in 1520s how it was recreated digitally. Of course, now I will spend another 5–10 minutes on missions. Well, so many people argued about the projects, research, academia, industry, collaborations, how it should come. See, industry is a different animal. Government is a different, I don't know what it is, okay? And academia is another, vertical. Bringing 3 different types of animals together and ask them to work together is impossible. Because fundamental thinking is different. But there is a common cause which they can comment, profits. Industry looks for profits. Academia requires for recognition. Government wants to resolve the problems. Therefore, if you bring that commonality among these 3 helix, then probably they come together. But the existing structure, does it support it? I don't think so. Suppose if you ask a professor, he has to do the research and develop innovation, develop a patent, and also create an industry, and also take it to the market, and do the marketing, and then as well as and create is it possible? I don't think so. Professor says, I am a researcher here. I just do the research and publish our patent and things like that. That's it. There ends my job. And then it is your headache. The industry doesn't spend anything on the research, but they look at ROI, return on investments. I spend 5 crores, what I am going to get. And that too within 6 months or 1 year. And government have huge amount of problems. Okay, they say if you want to solve the problem, you solve it. Otherwise, okay, somebody else will solve it. But there are problems. Now, how to bring, we require structures. That's why somebody was mentioning about the innovation hubs that we created under NMICPS. There are 25 hubs what we created across the country. Okay, these hubs are Section 8 companies. That means governed by a not-for-profit Section 8 of the Companies Act. There, we have an independent governing bodies away from the host institute, away from the government, away from all these things. That's an independent structure. What is required? It's supposed to do the research, it's research support, the technology business incubator, and startup creations. So this is what the structural changes we brought under NMICPS, National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. Okay, now I can go through some of the, what are these NMICPS? You can see all these things in the newspapers and as well as in the websites. It's a disruptive technology, cyber physical systems, that means creating the physical space in the cyber regime. Like digital twins, okay? It requires, fundamentally it is the sensing, the communication, the activators, and the alerts. This is the fundamental mool mantra of these ICPS, okay? Of course, every country is concentrating on these things. Now, The biggest problem is, though we say that the freedom and flexibility and as well as the delegation of powers and other things doesn't happen practically on the ground. Therefore, this particular mission created a separate mission governing board, and the cabinet has delegated all the financial, administrative and technical powers to the managers. Who are these MGB fellows? They are all industry people, academicians and as well as researchers. They said, via this mission, आप handle कर लेना. Nothing to do with the government. You take a decision and then and amount given is 4,000 crores. And I don't think, in a democratic system with the taxpayers' money, this type of, decision also can be taken by the cabinet that sees, the vision of the governments. I appreciate that. So the mission implementation model, what I'm asking is the hub, spoke, spike and model actually. When I say that, all the 25 hubs has been created in tier 1 institutes. There is no doubt in that. All IITs, BITS, and IISER, and all those people have created. Because there is a difference, let me tell you frankly. But what we told is, okay, you have the expertise, you have some advantages, but you have the mandate of taking other institutes also along with you. You cannot let them. Hand-holding is required. Therefore, you create a hub, but you create a spoke in all the universities, private universities, state universities, wherever it is. And then individual researchers should be connected as a spoke. So the entire, suppose in a small village engineering college, there is an expert, he should connect with the hub, he should connect with the spoke, and then entire, things has to go further actually. So these 25 hubs has been created, is operating. In Hyderabad, we have 2. One in IIT Hyderabad, IIT Hyderabad. Okay. And then we have an IISc Bangalore, IIT Madras, IIT Bombay. I mean, I can give the list. And the total funding is around 30,000 crores. Activities, yeah. So this is a special purpose vehicle, and fundamentally it is a platform to connect academia, industry, and governments, and managed by the hub governing body. Again, it is a combination of industry and government and academicians, and they have to have the mandate to support tier 2, tier 3 institutes in terms of projects, in terms of expertises. It's embedded in their sanction order itself. Okay. So these are the broad activities. We call it, our secretary used to call it as a mini DST. The DST also operates on 4 verticals, and this missions also operate on much verticals. Decentralization is a complete decentralization. At the mission level, at the hub level, there is no interference of bureaucracy anywhere in this mission. The first time in the history of science it happened. And I have the privilege of being the mission director of this particular mission. Right from the DPR, right from the cabinet note, right from the announcement, somehow I got a chance to work on this. And till my superannuation, I was the mission director. Because I concentrate on the structural changes. Without structures, it is not possible. So these are the hubs, various places. And these slides I will share with you. These are the hubs, what are their verticals and what they operate, what are the applications. All these things are available, and it goes on actually. Okay, so this is how overall the DST operates, and each scheme and other things, you can go into the website, and then there are yearly calls that comes, or seasonal calls that comes. But overall picture is this, and it changes very fast. And now the people are, government departments are moving towards implementing the missions. Now one is this NMICPS, another is National Quantum Mission. We developed it as a national mission on quantum technologies and applications. Okay. And that is a paradigm shift technology. I think everyone can participate in that, and every expertise can be mapped into that, either chemistry or a biology or a mathematics or a physics. Of course, physics is there, engineering, everybody can get into. Material science is a huge contribution in that, the development of a topological 2D material. Huge amount of applications are available, and that is a sunrise or emerging technologies. Apart from that, the biosciences, the quantum biology is another major thing that is going to happen. And I think you people should pick it up. And then if you write a good proposal, have no scrutiny at your institute level, then the quality proposal should go into the DST. Probably your success rate may increase, but still you have to try.